Have to maak vir ons 'n koffie first.
When we gave each other our hands and we looked in each other's eyes and we said,
My engagement ring was obviously getting lubricated here on my hand and it flew off. I've got my coffee now.
Mooi.
Happy wife, happy life, my love.
That's what they say.
Okay guys, so we are here today to break down our wedding day for you. We've been getting a lot of requests. Everyone wants to know the ins and outs of how we got married in 4 weeks.
Crazy. If when we think about it now, that we actually managed to do everything in 4 weeks. But it was a vibe.
It's absolute madness. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, Vickers and I got engaged in March, right?
Yes.
March of this year.
Yes.
It was like just the other day.
Yeah, a few months ago.
And after getting engaged, we were kind of like, we weren't ready to get married. We were like, we need to focus on our businesses. We have so much to do, you know, and we knew that once we got married, we would be ready to settle down and have babies and stuff like that. And we actually decided we were only going to get married in 2024, which is like in years from now, basically.
Yeah, I think we wanted to do all the things, you know, like what young people should do before they get married. Work hard, make money, go travel, do all the things. And we were like, okay, let's do all of those things and then we'll get married in a year or two. And I think things changed kind of when we actually went on holiday and we realized, you know what, we can do all these things and still work hard and everything even when we're married.
Because we've basically been married. I mean, Vickers and I moved in together a month after dating. Like a month after dating. And we've been
it
together.
was that December that we started looking.
I don't even know what year that is.
Yes,
that was.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we started looking at rings like a month after we moved in together.
So we've basically been married for the longest time. But after we got engaged, we actually found ourselves a wedding planner through like a mutual friend. And yeah, after finding a wedding planner, we had a meeting with them and we were like, listen, we only want to get married in 2024, but we want to just start the planning because we don't want to be stressed out by the time the wedding actually arrives.
Yeah, so we got the wedding planner and said, you have 2 years to give us the best wedding you possibly can. And we thought, you know what, let's put it all in their hands and we're not going to worry about anything.
I think I actually told Etienne. Etienne was our wedding planner. I said to him, the only thing I want to do is arrive on the day. If I can arrive and for my dress to already be there ready for me to get into without me having seen it, that would be like the winning wedding. The winning wedding.
Oh.
Because I literally wanted to have no involvement in it. I just think it's like such a stressful time. And we had so much on our plate with work. There was like no ways I'd be able to plan a wedding on top of everything that's been going on. But yeah, we were super indecisive. I mean, after meeting with Etienne, then we changed our minds. Then we were like, no, we're not getting married in SA. We're going to Mauritius to get married.
Mm-hmm. And so we checked out all the Mauritius things, and that was it was exciting, but it took so much time from work too, because we would sit on this couch watching every video we can find on Mauritius to get the vibe and see where we want to get married. And it was exciting, but also so stressful because like we know what we want, and we were trying to search for like the perfect place. And yeah, and then our minds changed again after that.
I think the most stressful thing about like potentially getting married in another country is we've never even been to Mauritius. You know, we've never even been in a resort in Mauritius. We had no idea what we were actually getting ourselves into because how are they like going to plan our day when we've never even met these people or anyone from the resort? How will they understand exactly what we want? And we were just worried it was going to be an absolute disaster. And I think the other thing for me was, like, because it would be a small wedding and not really very weddingy, I really was going to miss out on having like a first dance and a father-daughter dance. And I think that was like the reason we moved away from the Mauritius idea.
Yes, that is true because we said that there's a lot of traditional things that we're not going to really be able to do. And obviously we're not going to have like a lot of friends, a lot of people to spend it with. It's going to be like a small group of close family and one or two friends. And so we decided that we're not going to do all the traditional things. We're just going to rock up, say yes, and have a party, basically. And I think Michaela started thinking about, but I would like to do one or two wedding-y things.
So yeah, we moved away from the Mauritius idea. And then after we moved away from Mauritius, we were just like, okay, now what? And then we just carried on with our lives. We actually stopped focusing on the wedding, didn't pay any attention to it for like a few months. And then probably about 6 weeks ago now, we were having a braai at our house with my dad and stepmom and just chatting, and eventually somehow I brought up this musician. His name is Rowan Ash. What's his Afrikaans name?
Rowan van As.
Rowan van As.
Mooi.
Anyways, this guy has like the mooiest voice ever. So I was like, I really would love for this guy to sing at our wedding. And then we just, at this braai, started having this conversation about having a wedding. And Milani, who's my stepmom, said, well, if you guys want to get married, she is a lecturer at Tux, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, she's a lecturer at Tux. So she said to us, I start with lectures on the 24th of September. So we were like, oh my word. Now, this was probably like 5 weeks before that date or something like that, 4 weeks before.
Yeah.
And we were like, that is literally in a month's time. Or we had like a month to get everything done. So that was very stressful. And that same day I messaged Etienne and I'm like, listen, can we get married before the 24th of September? And I think at that point he was probably like, Michaela's lost her mind. This is like in a month or 5 weeks or I don't know, however much time. And then he was like, we can do it, definitely. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. But back to the Rowan Ash story. We were actually just like, we need to get married in like the next month or something so that Mal can actually attend the wedding or whatever. And we were just like, let's just get married. And I brought up the idea, let's just have a spit braai at your mom's house and invite like one or two friends and do something small. And then when we were braaiing and listening to Rowan Ash, Mix was like, this guy needs to sing at our wedding. And that's when we were like, we'll need a venue. We can't have like a groot show at someone's house, in a residential area and stuff. Yeah. And that's how we were like, Etienne, we're going to need a venue. We're going to need a wedding. And 4 weeks to plan it.
Yeah, it was very stressful. So yeah, anyways, like probably the day after, Vickers and I start searching for wedding venues. And that was the most stressful thing. The most stressful thing is trying to find a wedding venue that you like, that is affordable, that fits what you want to do. And yeah, we Googled, we asked the Instas, we were really just trying to research and find places that would accommodate us, that wouldn't cost us 7 billion rand. Yeah. Some of the venues we found, I think it was the one in Cape Town, right?
We found one, the only venue we actually really liked in Cape Town was 250,000 rand.
250,000 rand just to hire the venue. You haven't even eaten yet. You haven't even had a glass of champagne, and you've already spent 250K.
It was so crazy.
And I think that's also why we had decided on the Mauritius idea, because we were like, who pays this kind of money for one night of their life? Like, are people mad? So, doing the research, trying to find a venue was hard. And trying to find a venue that's actually affordable. And I also had some things that I was like not willing to sacrifice. Like I did not want a buffet. That was a big red flag for me. So some of the venues we found that we liked only offered buffets. And I was like, there's no ways. Like buffets remind me of
breakfast at a hotel.
No, not even that. Like aftercare. I just can't do buffets. I also find that if you had like an a la carte version of the same buffet, the buffet tastes worse.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same food, it's just something about that, like dishing out of a bain-marie thing onto your plate that makes it not appetizing. So we had to steer away from the buffets, which made it a little bit harder to find a venue. But eventually we found one that actually came up as like a suggested venue on Instagram. It was called Mooikrans. Mm-hmm. Right? Mooikrans venue, garden venue, something like that. And this place ended up being 2 kilometers from our house.
It was so funny because we found this place and we started looking at the photos and we were both like, this is such a mooi place. We have to go with this place. We need to find out where it is and everything. And I thought, let me just check on Google Maps where this place is, because we didn't know at that stage. We're like, maybe this is like in the Free State or something. Check on Google Maps, 2 kilometers from our house.
Couldn't believe it.
Winning.
It was like the best thing ever. And we hadn't looked at any venues at that stage. Like, we had only researched venues and we had a long list of like potential options. And Etienne was obviously sending us quotes of all these different venues and we were going through it like, oh, buffet, oh, too expensive, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I like checked out Mooikrans. It was a lot more affordable. So yeah, I mean, it was like the best option for us. So we went and had a viewing. We absolutely loved it. It was just like the most perfect place for like a small intimate wedding. And I think at that point was when we also decided to cut down our wedding guest list.
Yeah, wow.
So we actually started our wedding guest list with like 40 people each, right?
Yeah. And this is way back. This is like when we met, because we
Yeah, I already had like a notes thing in a document in my notes folder on my phone of like everyone we would be inviting to the wedding. And now that the wedding was actually around the corner, we actually sat and said like, who do we actually want at the wedding? Like who makes a difference in our lives? Who has been part of our lives as a couple? And all of those factors played such a huge role as to who we actually ended up inviting, because most of the time you invite people because you almost feel bad to not have them there, right? Like every single aunt, uncle, cousin, blah, 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 friends that you were friends with 10 years ago that you've never seen since then, but you feel bad to not invite them because they were your friend for so long. And eventually we were like, no, we're cutting out all the people that we don't actually need there. And we got our wedding guest list down to 36 people.
Yeah. But I just want to add that it's so true when you say that people that's been part of our life as a couple. Because imagine I invited 30 friends that you've never met and you invite 30 friends that I've never met, then we don't really know anyone at our own wedding. Does that make sense? So I think that was also all of your people that you invited was people that I actually knew.
Yeah.
And same with me, it's my close friends, people that I've seen in the past 6 months or so, that's been a part of my life. So Michaela knows them and everything. And yeah, I think it worked out very nicely. And we had a nice, small, intimate
And I think
guest
that's
list.
a really good rule to have if you are trying to figure out your guest list. And trying to determine if you want to have a big wedding or an intimate wedding. Just really think about, have these people been a part of our lives, and do we actually intend on them still being part of our lives after the wedding day? Because the last thing you want is to invite a bunch of people and then, a couple months after the wedding and you haven't even had contact with this person that you invited. Like it's firstly a waste of money, but the wedding day is so hectic that you don't even have time to mingle with everyone you invited. And we only had 36 people, including ourselves, and we still didn't have conversations with everybody.
Yeah. And we actually spoke to someone a few days ago that said he had 150 guests at his wedding. And from the 150 people that attended his wedding, he probably, and that's like 6 years ago, he's probably only bride with 4 of them again after the wedding. He hasn't seen any of the other people. And that's the thing. I think and we know that the people that we had there, we're going to have brides with them again. We're going to do things and see them. And I think that's a big thing.
And I think as well, if you haven't seen these people, we've been together for like 2 years now. In the past 2 years that you've been dating or engaged, then what are the chances you're going to see them when you're married? So really just think about it and really just consider the fact that times have changed and you don't need to have every single aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, cousin, I don't know, like all the nieces, children's, mensa. Like you don't need all of that. So just keep it simple and actually invite the people that you want there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had 4 weeks to plan this whole wedding dress, suits, decor, food, normal planning things, makeup, hair, everything. We had 4 weeks to get all of that together.
Yeah.
And learn a first dance and a father-daughter dance.
Oh, yes.
In 4 weeks, guys. Do you know how stressful it was? But we have realized when you decide on your wedding date and you decide on it 2 years from now, you are going to be stressed every single day for those 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it makes it worse. Like, we were stressed for a month and it was over.
That's true. Because I think, and my thing is, like, if you have 2 years and you're stressed every day, then you're going to start changing things that you think needs changing that was actually perfect in the first place. Because you're going to be like, no, wait, we can't do it like this. Let's try something else. So we decided on things and we stuck with that because we only had a few weeks left. And I think that also helped.
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to come with their opinions. Like, we think you should do this, or we think you should do that. And we didn't have any of that nonsense because we had no time for people to comment on our planning.
Yeah, not a lot of people even knew.
Yeah.
We were just like, let's just do this thing. And I mean, we do so many things in our businesses, just the two of us, you know. And we're like, we can do this. So here we are trying to plan a wedding, get suits, get dresses, organize music and everything while working and still traveling. A week before our wedding, we were in Cape Town for like 5-6 days.
Yeah, because at a festival, so the 4 weekends up to the wedding, or I think it was the 2 weekends before the wedding, 3.
Yeah.
I had my Cape Town, Cape Town and Pretoria.
Yes.
I had my Cape Town and Pretoria mid-year meetups the Saturday, both Saturdays running up to the wedding, which was 2 days before I got married.
Yes.
Which is madness. I only started looking for dresses 3 weeks before our wedding day.
I still had to sing at a wedding 2 days before our wedding.
So it was really, really crazy. I can say though that the wedding dress situation, like, a lot of people have been asking me, should I like get my wedding dress made? Should I buy a wedding dress off the rack? My wedding dress was a pre-loved wedding dress. So the boutique that I bought it from, someone had actually bought that dress, worn it for their wedding, and then sold it back to the boutique, and they sold it to me. So I got like half price on my wedding dress, and they obviously did alterations to make it like fit my body perfectly, but the wedding dress was incredible. It was secondhand, and I just wouldn't recommend getting your dress made because there's so many things that can go wrong, but there are so many good designers out there. I don't know why you would want to go through the effort of like trying to buy a wedding dress. And most of the time, the thing is that you think you know what you want, but you don't actually know what you want. Like, I was so set on an A-line or ballroom dress, and then I tried on so many, and by the time I got to this fitted dress, I was like, oh my goodness, this dress is the one. So, you know, if you're going to get your dress made, there could potentially be something that you would love more that you never got the chance to try.
And at least you only had to get the one dress because we didn't have any bridal parties.
Guys, so this was a massive thing for us. So we were like up and down about this bridal party situation. I just find the whole like 7,000 bridesmaids, 700 groomsmen, like, it's just a little bit over the top for me. Like, this day was supposed to be about us, and I just didn't want to have so many people involved that were just going to be very costly, first of all, because you have to buy everyone's, you know, dresses and all of that stuff. It makes it so much more expensive. And I really just wanted us to be I wanted it to be our day, not have like all these bridesmaids standing up at the chapel with us. Like, I just wanted it to be simple. And I almost wanted to, like, the friends that we invited and the family we invited, surprise them with the dress that I'd chosen, because no one other than my sister had actually seen my dress before I walked down that aisle. And that was like the best part, because, you know, some of my friends and family were crying because they hadn't even seen me in a wedding dress yet. And I thought that was so special, you know. So we saved ourselves a lot of money by not having a bridal party, no bachelorette, no bachelors, although I think Vickers would have liked a bachelor's.
Yeah, I'm still going to have one. But I mean, just a bride with the buddies, you know. But it wasn't a huge thing.
It wasn't a big deal for us to not have those extravagant things.
Yes, because we can still go jaw with our friends even though we're married. We don't have to still be single or unmarried to have a jaw.
So running up to the wedding, I think So we got married on the Monday. So a lot of people have asked us about this Monday story. So let's just go over that. Why did we get married on a Monday?
It's simple.
So firstly, we had 4 weeks. We decided on the venue we wanted to and said, what dates do you guys have? And they said, oh, well, we have these 2 Mondays. So we got married on a Monday. We knew that the people we invited, being at only 36 people, would do what they had to do to be at the wedding because we knew everyone we invited would attend. They were all family that was obviously very close, friends that were very close. Like if they wanted to be there, they're going to take the day off for you. So, you know, and it saved us money. We got married on a weekday.
Yeah.
I think people have this like perception about weekday weddings being bad or whatever. I don't really understand it. But it's probably because you're inviting too many people that you probably don't need there. You know, if you just invite the people that you actually want there, you will be absolutely fine with a weekday wedding and save yourself like 10 to 25% or something off of your normal wedding fee for the venue and the food.
Yeah.
So
I think if they had a Saturday or Sunday or something like that open, we'd go for that. But still,
you had gigs though.
I had gigs most of the weekends, and then all my friends also have gigs on weekends. So the Monday just worked out perfectly when the venue told us this is what we have open. We're like, okay, well then we have to go with that, and my friends could attend, and we got some discount.
Yeah.
So,
and I know my mom and stepdad had like big meetings that Monday.
Yes.
And you know what? They just rescheduled them.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. We're getting married. You have to be there. So just mark a plan, you know? Obviously, I'm sure most of you watching this that are trying to plan a wedding are not going to get married in 4 weeks. So you don't have to stress about that stuff too much. But all we're saying is consider a weekday. It will save lots of money.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? My coffee is klar.
My coffee is klar too.
It's okay. We're almost done. Okay, so 2 days before the wedding, so this was the Saturday. Obviously, Vickers' family also had to take leave, and they were in Empangeni, so they had like the longest traveling period.
Yeah.
Although my grand came from George and my other grand came from Durban, but they both flew up. But Vickers' family had to take leave, so that was probably the biggest struggle, but they managed. And they drove up on the Saturday, right? Or Friday?
The Saturday.
No, the
The Saturday.
So they arrived on the Saturday and they were all staying at our house. So I actually left on the Saturday and went to my dad for the weekend so that Vickers and I would be separated before the wedding day, which I think was such a good call because it gave us a chance to like miss each other a little bit before the day. And I was nervous as hell. Those like 2 days before the wedding, I was so nervous. On the wedding day, I felt nothing. Like I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah.
But before the wedding, and we also had to write our speeches like that weekend.
I think
we had no time.
That's why I was so nervous. The whole writing the speech thing, because I wanted to make it perfect, but I wanted to also kind of wing it so it's natural. And I was just so stressed about that. I think that's why I was nervous. The rest was like a breeze.
Do you know what the worst part is?
What?
I can't remember anything you said in your speech. Can you remember anything I said?
No.
Exactly.
No.
But yeah, so we separated for 2 days, wrote our speeches. My dad was so emotional the weekend before the wedding. Like, I think he was also drinking a little bit too much wine, but he would literally cry. Like, we would be standing outside and he would just start crying. Like, he was so emotional. So that weekend, I was like, Dad, we need to do a first look before we walk down the aisle. Because if you start crying when we walk down the aisle, I'm going to cry. But we did a first look and I cried anyways walking down the aisle. Like, it's such an emotional little part of your wedding day when you walk down that aisle. So I was a bit emotional. So we separated. I got to the venue on the day of the wedding. I arrived early. I think I got there at like 10 in the morning because I'm a perfectionist. And I had to check that everything was sorted. I mean, these poor vendors only knew like a week before the wedding what had to be set up where, what flowers we were going with, etc. So I arrived and I was like checking on everything, making sure everything is mooi, and then did my hair and makeup, got ready, and then walked down the aisle to you with my dad.
Yeah. What did I do? I was so I was obviously at home. The day before, I had a lekker braai with my family that obviously stayed here.
You may have seen all the braai breads on Vickers' story.
We had so baie braaibroodjies. So that was cool. And then the next day, I took my dad to the barber, and we went there, and I got my beard shaved, and I got my dad's beard shaved, and had a whiskey or two, and just got myself ready for the big day. And I guess it was a bit less stressful for me. I don't know. It's usually for you. You need to get into your dress, and you're at the venue. So if you see something that's wrong and you need to make it right, like running around and stuff. I don't know what happened at the venue. I was just here drinking my whiskey and waiting for 2 o'clock.
I can add though that the day before the wedding, I woke up with such a sore throat.
Oh yes.
And I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have flu on my wedding day. So my dad was like overdosing me on medication so that I'd be fine for the next day. So I would say that one thing I do remember about getting ready is my dress was so tight that it wouldn't go over my butt easily. Like every single time I put my dress on, you just heard a stitch rip. And I didn't have anyone to help me get my dress on. So my lovely makeup artist / hair person on the day was helping me get my dress over my ass. So that was fun. But it got on, and it fit so mooi when it was on, but the process of getting it on was a little bit tough.
Yeah. Cool. So then I arrived at the venue, but I obviously still didn't see you until you walked down the aisle.
Yeah, and I walked down the aisle to Hallelujah. How does it go? Can you sing us, Sister Key?
It was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you?
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
It's the Shrek song, right?
Yes, it's the Shrek song. But we used the other rendition by Pentatonics.
Pentatonics.
Yes, that's the a cappella one.
Yeah, it's a very nice rendition. So the reason we actually chose the song as our first song, or our aisle song, is before Vickers and I met, he was doing like these live shows on Facebook, right? This is actually how we met. It was during lockdown. And he was doing these live shows, and the one night I said to him, can you please play a sleep song? So it was like his last song for the night.
Yes.
And that's the song that he played. And it's just been like a song that's kind of gone through our relationship with us.
Yeah.
Like every single time he was at a gig or staying out somewhere, or that month before we moved in together, I would always say to him, can you send me the sleep song?
Yeah.
And I have like voice notes on my phone of you singing Hallelujah.
Yeah. So just before bed, I'll send you a voice note on WhatsApp singing your sleep song.
So that was like a very special song for us.
Yeah. So then after we walked down after you walked down the aisle, we did that whole thing where we said I do and stuff. It was a very beautiful moment. I think that was so cool when I put that ring around your finger. On your finger.
We should add about how my engagement rings flew off my hand.
I really hope someone caught that on camera. That was so funny. Yeah, so we were standing there, and your reason was that my hands were sweaty, right?
Because his hands were like putting your hands in the pool, right? So we're like holding hands, and I don't know what happened. Eventually, I was changing hands or something because Vickers' hands were so sweaty.
Yeah.
And I think I lifted my hand, and my engagement ring was obviously getting lubricated here on my hand, and it flew off. And we both just looked at each other.
We didn't say anything. And we were like, okay. But I saw the ring lying there. She's like, okay, there's the ring. And she was just like, I'm just going to pick it up.
And we just looked at each other, and I think the priest guy he didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So we're looking at each other awkwardly, and eventually I just turned around and picked it up. And then I still made some kind of comment, but I can't remember what I said.
Yeah, but it was funny. Everyone had a laugh.
So we just laughed it off and carried on.
Yeah.
And then we signed our registry. Oh, by the way, so we only had 2 weeks to sort out our marriage contract before the day of we got married. So that was so stressful. We were hoping for the best that we get this bloody contract in time before the wedding day. But thank goodness Shout out to Mabel who pulled through for us.
Yes,
Because
yes.
that was so stressful.
Because we were still learning about what everything means and stuff, and contractual
no.
things. So we had 2 weeks to sort all that out, but we got it done. Thanks, Mabel. There was more.
So yeah, after that, we had our canapes. We actually decided on roaming canapes because, like a buffet, I just don't like a harvest table.
I don't like a harvest table because usually it's just like
Cheese and
biscuits and fruits.
Yeah, so we had roaming canapes, of which I don't recall having anything.
It was amazing. And the other reason I wanted roaming canapes because I know it was going around when we were going to take photos, and I know the waiters will come past us while we take photos.
I remember you like shoving some things in your mouth.
Yeah, while we were taking photos, I had to taste it because I had to make sure that our guests are happy with the food.
So yeah, for canapes, we had roaming canapes. We had set up beer pong tables, which was the best idea ever.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Etienne had obviously told us about like yard games and stuff like that, and how we could keep the guests occupied. And I was like, "There's no ways our guests are gonna play, I don't know, bowling or like throw the beanbag in the hole. Like they are not those kinds of people." So I immediately knew beer pong was the answer to all of our problems, and we had 2 beer pong tables set up, I think. So they had the biggest draw. I think they were already pretty tipsy by the time the photos were over, having so much beer pong. And then we did have a musician there, but we didn't get Rowan Ash because Rowan Ash was moving overseas.
So the whole reason we wanted to move to a venue and have this big wedding and stuff, because Michaela was like, "Dude, you need to phone Rowan and ask him to come and sing at our wedding." I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna do it. And like a week goes past and she's like, "Have you phoned Rowan?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it now." So phone the guy. He's like, "Hey dude, I'm sorry, I'm like going to the States just before that time, and I won't be there." And anyway, so we didn't get Rowan Ash to sing at the wedding.
So I was a little bit disappointed about that.
But it's cool.
But we did have another musician there. However, I can say that I didn't actually get a chance to hear him sing. Because we were so preoccupied with photos and all of that kind of stuff that I didn't even walk past the musician, I don't think.
Yes, and that's usually the case. You book a musician for your wedding, but you're not really going to hear him sing if he only sings at canapes.
Yeah, so that was a bit unfortunate, but I'm sure he was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did roaming canapes, didn't have a harvest table, we had beer pong, we did our family photos, and then we did our cake cutting in the canapé area.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When we did the cake cutting, just after we entered the venue. Oh no.
So was our
it was
tower.
Actually in the canopy area.
Yes, we did cake cutting.
I just remember the cake being so good.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
So our cake was from Oh My Cake, right? They're like based in 4 ways, and we just went with a very basic cake, just like a dirty ice. Buttercream, and then Etienne and them just put flowers on the cake, which also saved us like a ton of money. So it was chocolate at the bottom and red velvet at the top, and we cut the red velvet part, and the red velvet was on another level. I've never tasted a cake that good.
Yeah.
And red velvet is generally not my vibe, but holy moly, this was a good cake. So yeah, we ate the cake, and then the day kind of just went on until the reception kind of started, right? So our MC was actually one of my best friends, Naledi. She made the best MC ever because she is loud, she is organized. So we just knew that she would absolutely smash it. So when Vickers and I walked in, we actually walked in and immediately did our first dance.
Yeah.
So then it just got the first dance out the way. So like we walked in, our song started, we did our first dance. We did our champagne tower to hand out champagne for speeches, and then speeches started.
Oh, speeches. The thing about wedding speeches, like I've been to over 100 weddings in my life because I sing at a lot of weddings, and that's always the speeches sometimes just take so long. And we just told each other we need to keep it short and sweet. We're not going to have a list of now. there's usually the oom and die tannie and the papa and the mama and boetie and sissy and best man, and there's like so baie mense that needs to speech. We were just like, no, we're just gonna have like 1 or 2 or 3 speeches. So whoever wants to speech can actually speech. Very informal, and we ended up having like 3 or 4 speeches.
Yeah, we had 4. It was
4.
me and you, my dad, and your tannie.
Yes, that's it.
And it was the best.
And short and sweet speeches. Yeah.
No, like 7-hour-long speeches. I mean, it also annoys the guests, and I would also be annoyed. So, yeah, we just told everyone, like, 5 minutes max for your speech, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah.
I cried when I was saying my speech.
You did.
But it was actually, like, it was a sad moment for me because both of my grands attended our wedding, but both of my granddads have passed away. And my one granddad, I mean, you guys might know if you're watching the video from Instagram, but he passed away recently, like a couple months ago. So it was just a sad moment for me to like say that they obviously weren't there, but that my one granddad would have had all of the brandy with you.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so I cried a little bit. Vickers sang me a song.
I did.
I wasn't expecting it, but I think a lot of people have said, like, is Vickers going to sing? And I think people created this, like, little bit of pressure for you.
Yes.
Even though you maybe didn't intend on doing it.
It was, yeah. So I, obviously I didn't really want to sing at my own wedding, but I mean, doing one song for my bride is not so bad. But, so I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to do a song that you've seen me do 1,000 times at shows or something.
Yeah.
And, the one way we always discover new songs is when we sit and work in the A's, then we have YouTube playing, and then new songs will just come up. And there was this song that came up, and I was like, this is such a moist song, and it will be so good to maybe sing this for Michaela, but I don't know it at all. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing it 3 weeks before the wedding. And so here I am. Every time Michaela leaves the house for like 5 minutes to go to the shops or something, I have to listen to the song and try to learn the song. Guys, it was so stressful. And so no one knew, but then in conversations, people would be like, so Vickers, are you going to sing your bride a song? And my reply every time was like, well, if I was going to, it would have been a surprise. And then the people feel so bad. But yeah, so, and there was this one time that Michaela actually said, yeah, I think you should. I think that would be nice. So I was like, okay, so the pressure is on, because I was still contemplating, am I gonna not sing a song? About 2 or 3 days before the wedding, I'm still struggling to learn the words to the song. I'm still trying to learn the melody, and so I'm driving in the car to the shops, and I'm just trying to learn the song. And I haven't even told the sound guys, hey, you're gonna have to play the song. The morning of the wedding, I send the song to the sound guys, and I'm like, okay, I made up my mind, I'm just gonna wing it and sing this song. So I told them I want to sing the song in my speech. So stressful. I was so stressed.
But you had the lyrics and you didn't reference them once.
So I actually
so
printed the lyrics and put it on the back of my wedding
Your
speech.
Yeah.
And then I started singing, and I just kept it there as a reference, but I didn't look down, and so it worked out fine.
I think you were just confident, so you smashed it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had the first dance, we did speeches, I had my father-daughter dance. What was our first dance song?
It was Be Okay, by Rehab and Harvey.
Yeah, Rehab and Harvey. So we chose that song because it plays on YouTube every single day in our house, and we love it. And it's like upbeat, and it was such a vibe.
Yeah.
And what was my dad and I's song?
Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Oh, Don't Stop Believing by Journey, which is just a classic that my dad is obsessed with.
Yeah.
So we also had like a little bit of a first dance thing that we had practiced and choreographed. So that was also like such a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, what did we do after that?
So usually then people would do like throwing a bouquet or a garter or
we didn't do any of that.
We didn't. So we had some traditional things, but we also kind of didn't want to do everything by the book traditionally, because I also think like we wanted to keep the formalities to a minimum so we can just have a jol. And I think we did that pretty well. So yeah, after speeches and stuff, I think we kind of started eating.
Oh, we had the best food.
Yes.
We had actually arranged with Moikrans to do a tasting before the wedding day. So we actually went there for a date night. And we left there like Oompa Loompas.
I gained like 2 kgs.
It was the best dinner. And then we had the most beautiful and just delicious food ever on the day.
Nice.
We did family style, which is such a vibe. They bring the food to the tables and then everyone dishes up. It's like a typical Christmas lunch vibe. So much better than a la carte, so much better than a buffet. Would highly recommend doing a family style wedding. It's just the best.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything we've forgotten so far. Oh, something that we haven't spoken about is our photos. So we did our couples photos in golden hour, which was just after the cake cutting kind of thing as we went and did our photos. I was miserable.
Yeah, you were.
The poor photographer and videographer must have thought like, yes, this Michaela girl is just so difficult to work with. But you know what? I think it was because I felt like I was missing out on my wedding day by spending so much time taking photos. But the photos are so beautiful. So obviously I can't complain about them now.
Yeah, because you were a little bit mislick at one stage, and I'm like, what's going on? And you're like, I want to get this done. I want to go party with my people. I'm like, do you want wedding photos?
So yeah.
So it worked out well. We got very mooi photos.
We did. We got beautiful photos. So shout out to Lene.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, she had to really like deal with my cock on the wedding day because I was so moody about taking photos.
Yeah, but I think I also kind of had FOMO about the beer pong.
Yes.
But when I walked past, I can just say I walked past and the guys just gave me the ball and I did one lekker gooi and I got it in, and it was like this cool moment.
Well done, babe.
And I was a champ. I got one. I got one. Wish we could have played a game together, me and you. But next time.
We'll catch up for it.
Yeah, we'll have a beer pong tournament at home. Akinye.
Okay, so after our reception, we actually moved to like our dance hall kind of thing. And we had like an outdoor area with a bonfire and a bar set up, which was
so
very,
cool.
very cool. I eventually had to take my wedding dress off. I would say that I could add that as a regret, is actually not having like a second outfit, only because I was so full from eating so much food and drinking so much like champagne and beer shandies and stuff that I was so bloated, and my wedding dress didn't have any leeway for bloatedness. So eventually after a period, I was so moody from the stress. I was like, I need to get the stress off of my body. And then I just put on an oversized dress and I was so much better the rest of the evening.
And the next moment you rock up here by the bonfire in a rockier oversized sundress.
Yeah, which is such my vibe. Like I love oversized clothes.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was so cool.
I spent the rest of my night in an oversized dress, which I loved.
Yeah, it was so cool. So everyone was still so formal, and here you were, and people thought like she
although
missed the memo.
People didn't look very formal as the night got further on.
Yeah, the ties got loose and everything.
So we must add that we decided on an all-black formal wedding. So all of the guests, all the males had to wear suits with a black tie. All the girls, women, whatever, had to wear black dresses or anything black. And it was the best decision ever because it made for the best photos. Even though we haven't seen the photos yet, in my mind, I know that they are going to be awesome.
Yes.
So Vickers wore like a bow tie, but all the other men had normal black ties. And honestly, it looked so good. So I'm so glad that we decided on it. I think the only people that were upset about it was like the little bit of an older generation.
Yeah.
Because they thought they were like attending their own funerals. But besides that, like it worked out perfectly, all black. And I was obviously in white. Vickers had a bow tie versus a tie. And it was just the best decision ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone got super wasted. And it was just a draw.
It was a draw.
We didn't have like a super late night.
No.
I don't recall.
I think we were done at like 10:30 maybe.
I think it was a bit later than that. Maybe like 11:30.
Okay, maybe 11:30.
Yeah. Then we actually stayed in the bridal room at the venue, even though our house is 2 kilometers away. But Vickers' family were all staying here for the night. So we stayed over there. Moikrans actually delivered lamb shank and mash to our room. For us to eat
after we ate
so much food. So that literally just died there because there was no ways I could fit anything in. We literally had canapes, family style dinner, cake, dessert, and a midnight snack, which was mini pizzas and chicken strips. The chicken strips were the best things ever.
Really, I didn't have space. I was looking at
I
the
had
stuff.
to create space by changing so that I could still enjoy all of the course.
But I couldn't eat anymore, hey. So I haven't tried the chicken strips and the pizzas.
We'll
I
go
didn't
back.
even have the
We'll do
desserts.
the wedding again.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so non-negotiables for our wedding day.
Yeah.
Let's chat about that. So, non-negotiables for us, the best food ever. An open bar. Now, bear in mind, we only had 36 guests, or 36 of us all together. We wanted it to be the best experience for everyone, and for that reason, we decided we would rather use more of our budget on the best food and free booze rather than spending our budget on shit that no one cared about.
Yeah.
Like millions of roses. You know, people will always remember the fact that they drank for free and ate the best food.
No, definitely.
So those two things. And then the other thing that we really wanted that we got was a video booth. So, you know, normally at a wedding, there's like a book where everyone writes a little message in, which I didn't really think was very personal. And people can't really get across what they want to say on a page, mainly because people are also drinking and it's hard to go write your message there. So we had a video booth set up where people got microphones and they could actually leave a video message for us that we can always watch back.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And then any non-negotiables from you? Or those three?
No, food and dope, I think.
Food and dope.
If you can do that right, then you have a great winning recipe for a great wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, things we would change about our wedding day.
Things we would change.
So the one thing that we have thought about is the wedding day is over so fast.
Yeah.
Like you arrive, you put on your roki, and then you're going to bed. Like it is over so quickly, and you've spent lots of money, and it's just crazy how quick the day is over.
Yeah.
So we would say if we could change anything, we would have gone with a weekend away wedding. Or like something that involves the party continuing on for like a day or two before or after the wedding. Although we had the best wedding day, it did just feel like it started and then it ended.
Yeah. I would say like go away on the Friday and you do fun things. You go fishing or you do some quad biking or whatever. And then the next day you wake up, everyone have breakfast together and it's also just another fun day. And then you have like a little ceremony, but basically the whole weekend is the reception.
Yeah.
Just fun and spending time together.
I would definitely say that's like the only thing that we would actually want to change about our wedding day.
Yeah.
Is like if our wedding day lasted longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing because
it's so much fun.
Everything else was perfect, but we wish the day wasn't over so quickly, especially because you spend a lot of money on your wedding. Yeah. Favorite thing about the wedding day for you?
Favorite thing?
Favorite part?
Favorite part? I must. There's so many. If I think about it, like I must say, the part where I put that cake in my mouth was amazing. It was so good. And then there's so bar things, but I think my favorite thing was when we gave each other our hands and we looked in each other's eyes and we said, I think just you saying I do, you know, and not saying like, oh, I'm not sure, or anything like that. Just you saying I do and wanting to spend the rest of your life with me. I think that was, when that was over, the whole wedding was just such a bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a good part for me.
Yeah. I think for me, it was like just walking down the aisle. Like walking down the aisle is such a memorable moment that obviously you only ever do once in your life. And obviously when I think about it now, I would have never had that in Mauritius or, you know, anything like that. It was just the best moment for me.
Yeah.
It was just walking down the aisle with my dad. Yeah. To you, obviously.
It was beautiful though. It was beautiful.
So yeah, guys, that's about it.
Yeah.
That was our wedding day. After the wedding, we slept over. We woke up at like 9 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And then we came home and we started working.
Yes, we did. And we haven't stopped since.
Yeah. So no honeymoon for us. I mean, we are really hoping to spend a couple months traveling next year.
Yeah.
But we're really just trying to graft at the moment, focus on our businesses, make some geld, and then we can relax a little bit after that.
Yeah, then we can settle down and enjoy our married life.
And have a baby. One baby.
One.
Wow. Okay, so I know you guys are going to ask, so we quickly just want to go over some of our suppliers with you, and then we can call it a day on our wedding video. So, wedding planner was Art Weddings. They are the best. They
Great
saved our asses. There's no ways in hell we could have done that wedding day without them.
Yeah. Not
There's
in 4
so
weeks.
much to
Wow.
think about when it comes to stationery and the thing that the rings go in, and just like all those basic things that people forget about.
Yeah.
So, you know, would definitely recommend them. And the thing that we loved about them was the fact that their rate is the same irrespective of your budget.
Yeah, that was pretty cool because sometimes people will take like a commission type of thing where it's like a percentage or something.
Yeah.
But that was great because we kind of we told them that we were going to Mauritius and then Cape Town or whatever, but we paid them the one rate and they still gave us the best wedding
Ever.
Yeah.
So next thing, cake. Obviously, we got our cake from Oh My Cake. They were the best.
Yeah.
Can't change anything about our cake.
Great cake.
Our decor was done by Red in Paris, or Kelly Sadie Weddings. So she did like all the stuff that you forget about, like serviettes and candles and candle holders and the things that go over the table and all that complicated stuff.
What are those things?
Pink pergola. The pergola story was a disaster. But
yeah,
anyways,
but all the things that, like I don't even know the names of any of those things. So, thank you.
Yeah, we just managed to get a list, sent it through to Kelly, and she just sorted it all out.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did decor. Photographer, Lene, or Al Photography, I think is her photography name. So she did both our photography and videography. We loved it. She was very patient with me. So we only have good things to say about that. We did get a beautiful light that said #Botma.
Yeah, it's
and
so
that was
cool.
done by the Light Co. We actually have it in the house somewhere. We need to plug it in and put it on a wall or something.
Yeah.
So
We'll plug it in and see if I'm sure it still works. But then
Yeah.
we'll find a nice blackie. It's so cool though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we had makeup and hair modern artistry. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
They did my hair makeup, and she was amazing. We did a trial session as well. I'm not a very difficult person to please when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like I kind of just gave her leeway to do whatever. Just said I want something natural. She nailed the brief on the trial, and then on the wedding day it looked better than the trial day. So I mean it was amazing.
You looked amazing.
Oh,
Really.
donkey. And then my wedding band. So my engagement ring and wedding band was made by the same person, and that's Martin Varga Jewelers, and he is great. And his rates are very, very reasonable for what you get. So we would definitely recommend him if you want to make something like custom, which actually always ends up working out cheaper than buying it from a jeweler.
Yeah.
So we would definitely 100% recommend that. So yeah, guys, that is it on our wedding shenanigans day. It was the best day ever. We don't regret it for a second. We're so glad we decided on the wedding and not a trip to Mauritius. And we really hope that it helps you while you are planning your own wedding.
Yeah, I think there's a few good tips in there. But just just keeping it simple, or
Make it about you.
make it about you. And like we said, the guests want to have something to eat and something to drink, and then they're happy. And then for the rest, just make it about you and make it as mooi as you can for you and not for the other means.
Exactly. And don't spend more money than what you can budget.
Yes, please.
You don't want to be in debt from your wedding.
Yes.
So keep
Yeah.
it simple. Spend the geld that you can, budget for it, and then you're just going to have the most beautiful day.
Yeah. Lekker. So, next time we make a video like this, it's going to be about changing nappies.
No, hopefully it'll be our honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Dankie julle. We hope you found it helpful, and we will see you at our next video. Bye. Mooi.